Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Committee of Council meeting for the town of Three Rivers to order. We have regrets tonight from Councillor Van Dyke. And in the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory, Epiwik, Prince Edward Island. Mi'kmaq is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this land for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. Second on our is the approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor McFarland, second by Deputy Mayor Jenkins. Any comments, additions? I will say tonight that we have a regular Committee of Council meeting, and following that, we will have a special council meeting as well. Okay, hearing. I'll call for an approval of the agenda. Okay. Next is disclosure of conflict of interest. Is anybody in a conflict of interest on any items on the agenda tonight? No conflict of interest. We'll move on to the adoption of minutes and item 4. So we have the adoption of the September 22nd, 2025 Committee of Council minutes. So the motion, So the motion is that the minutes of the September 22nd, 2025 special council meeting be adopted as written. So moved. Okay. Moved by Councillor Monroe, second by Councillor Van Dongersgoed. Any comments on those minutes? Or go ahead, Councillor McFarland.
Thank you, Your Worship. I had asked in those minutes about the lights on Main Street, when they're going to be started. Mm-hmm. And they're long since been installed now, but they look great, and be a really nice, good addition to Main Street. And as I understand, there's going to be more in the future. Thank you. That's great.
Now, thanks for mentioning that. There will be 20 more in our budget for next year. And there still is a few repairs. They're trying to repair some of the lights that are actually missing and broken. And I believe they're coming back to do a few more repairs on that. I know one in particular that needs to be fixed. Okay. All in favor of those minutes? Okay, motion is carried. Did I do special? Okay. Okay, the next is the adoption of the Committee of Council minutes for September 22nd. So the motion is that the minutes of September 22nd, 2025 Committee of Council meeting is be adopted as written. Mover and a seconder. Okay, moved by Councillor Spin, second by Councillor McDonald. Any comments on those minutes? They are on page 6, I believe. No, page 2. Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carried. So it brings us down to number 5, which is presentations and delegations. And council values your input. Registered speakers are allotted 5 minutes to present their views. During the presentation, council members will not engage in dialogue or debate, but may ask questions afterward. To ensure a productive and respectful discussion, speakers are encouraged to maintain a professional tone, avoid personal attacks, and focus on matters within the jurisdiction of the municipal government. When a speaker is presenting, all others in attendance must remain quiet and seated to allow the speaker to be heard clearly. Tonight we have one speaker who is registered, and that is Derek Nicholson, and I'd invite Derek to come to the podium.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I better turn this on.
Yep.
So I can be recorded. I'm wondering if I could ask for an extension in time, just in case I go over a little bit, if that would be possible.
So 5 extra minutes?
5
or-
extra minutes would be great. I hopefully won't use it, but I'm using a condensed portion of my presentation, and I don't want to take up any of your important time, but let's see if we can get on here.
Okay, we need a motion to do that, okay, so you make the motion? Okay, seconder? Okay, all in favor of allowing, okay,
Okay,
nay? Okay, we have one nay there.
one day, okay, all right. I
We'll
got
get that recorded.
I know, I understand that, and well, first of all, I want to thank you for the privilege of being here and addressing council. And I don't want to bore you with anything you don't already know, but what I want to do is to remind you of the good work that you've been doing in Three Rivers. And this thing just came to my mind. It says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God." And sometimes we forget to give thanks where thanks is due. And here's what I found out. I did an executive summary of everything that you've done in Three Rivers. You sourced over $3.4 million worth of federal housing accelerator fund money, which attracted not only some more social housing, but I think it might have spurred on maybe some healthcare infrastructure and some other things along the way. So good for you in order to go out and get that. Your financial statement, when I did some research, I found out that at the end of August, you had a surplus of $154,229. Good for you. You've strengthened some of the essential services in Brudenell, and if it wasn't for the work of this council, sewer and water wouldn't have gone past the pearly gates, because that's just the way it was designed. But you stuck your neck out and said, no, we need sewer and water. We need an extension to this service, and the community will thrive because of your hard work and effort. And in fact, there's some upgrades going on in Georgetown to connect the business park, sewer and water, which is badly needed down there in order to make some dollars happen. The other thing that I was impressed when I did my research about Three Rivers, you strengthened the administrative capacity through key appointments. Now, some people look at this as a negative thing when you're spending money, but in order to make money, you have to spend some money, and you've got some key people in a role, and you've got a new deputy CAO. Never had that position before, and you couldn't have done it without your vision. I remember a few years ago when you went to get a permit in Brudenell, you had to get it in a certain time, and they had a job to get a quorum, and then, you know, they might get it next month. Now, when a permit application comes in, you've got the infrastructure in place that can be done at desk level if it's for a house construction. You've brought Three Rivers into a place where we were never brought before. Thank you. The Housing Accelerator Fund of $3.4 million, I'm hoping to see all kinds of barriers eliminated when it comes to housing developments. Because I posted on my Facebook page, and I think you commented on it, about a housing development going up in Charlottetown, and you wouldn't believe the comments I'm getting back. Oh, it's a fire trap. Oh, this. Oh, they're going to charge too much. And I said to one person that I know really well, why don't you set up an appointment with the architect of this project and take a walk through it? And you'll find out it's not a death trap. And it's built to code. And sometimes these keyboard warriors just suck all the energy out of the room when all you're trying to do is say, look at some housing that started. We got a ladder truck now. How we can go up, what, 8 stories? 7 stories? How many? 100 feet. It was the longest ladder truck on Prince Edward Island till Stratford got a new one, and it's 6 inches higher. 3 inches higher. Sorry, I thought it was 6. All right, there. I know he knew. See, there's been some successes that we don't talk about enough, but it's been great successes. The provincial government committed $13 million to construct 30 new social housing units on the former manor site. We forget about those, but that's 30 new units coming up. There's some development going up Robertson Road, and it's all the buzz at the coffee shop. What's going in there and how's that going to happen? But there's going to be places where people can live and in walking distance to some restaurants and some grocery stores and a mall and a walk-in clinic. Would have never happened before in the history of Montague. There's a new health clinic that Three Rivers helped accelerate. Social housing, core infrastructure, sewer and water. In fact, I was told the other day by a councillor of Three Rivers that there's 5 new houses going in Georgetown. Would have never happened before. In fact, there's a 10-year period in Georgetown, they never even issued 1 building permit. 5 new houses in Georgetown. Never in the history has it happened before. Walking trails, you're investing in walking trails. We've got a new active transportation corridor going up past McDonald's, and I see people on it all the time with bicycles, and they're walking, and it's being used and utilized. And as I become more mature, I need a scooter path because now we're getting overrun by scooters. Oh, it's true, and it's something that we've got to really have a look at. Is it safe for them to go across the bridge? The lights are wonderful, but it's not wide enough for a scooter. It's dangerous. So we've got some great lights, and you know, when I said to my wife the other day, we got to go through drive-through Montague, because when you go across that bridge now, it is phenomenal. It's lit, you can see where you're going. Thank you for that. We needed those for the longest time. There's a light down by Ann's church that needs to be repaired too. Hopefully they'll get to that too when that part of it. That's one of the ones. I think Ann backed into that. No, she didn't. No. Okay. But things like making changes to the financial situation, to hiring and investing more money in staff, to having a development department. There's 3 people in it now, maybe 4, and now you can come in, you can ask a question, and you'll get an answer. And in fact, when I pick up the phone to phone Three Rivers, you know what happens? They're polite on the other end of the phone. They say, oh yes, Derek, I think we can put you into that meeting. What's your topic? And I told her, she said, well, you got to tell me what your topic is. It's just what I told you. It's thank you. When was the last time somebody came to council and said, thank you for all your hard work? Okay.
You did.
Oh, I did, okay. You know, you're connecting with initiatives. There's a taxi, a water taxi or ferry that's being talked about, getting some infrastructure going on the water. There's other projects that are in the works that is just bustling. I heard somebody the other day wants to build a new apartment building in Montague. Good for them. They're investing money because this council has brought confidence back to the residents of Three Rivers. In conclusion, because I didn't want to take up all this time or get booted out. This period of time marks an exceptional productivity and success for Three Rivers. You've done some things that people said you couldn't do, and you've stood up against the test of time and the people, the naysayers that came and beat on the desk and stormed out the door. But there's still going to be naysayers. If you go back in history, you'll find out in the province of Prince Edward Island, they passed laws that you couldn't drive an automobile on the road, especially on Sunday. And they passed legislation. And when they did allow cars on the road, somebody had to walk in front of it with a flag. Some people, their mind is back in that era where we don't want anything to change. We want it to be the way that we think it should be, not the way it needs to be. I don't like change, but a picture showed up on Facebook the other day of Keir Clark's store with a set of gas pumps right on the sidewalk. I don't want gas pumps on the sidewalk at Kira Clark's store. I want change. I want this community to grow for the benefit of not only me, you, but everybody else who calls Three Rivers home. Thank you for the extended time. I'm done.
Thank you, Derek. Yes, it's not that often that we have somebody that says thank you. And I just want to point out, though, you forgot one thing.
Oh dear, what did I
Yeah,
forget?
the new extension to the Cardigan Fire Hall.
Oh, yeah, but you didn't pass the budget for that yet.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
you're right, it's coming.
Okay, so that
It's coming
will
tonight,
be
yeah.
passed, yes.
No, thank you. We all have a vision. I must say, I've been on council since for quite a number of years, and John has as well. And our term will soon be up in approximately a year, and I want to say that I haven't worked with such a great council, and this has been a great council, and we did have a vision. And I think we did accomplish, well, obviously we did, because you pointed out most of them. And I think there's still more in our vision, but
Yes.
we'll see in the next year what happens.
Right on.
But thank you.
You're very
Anybody
welcome.
else have anything to say, Derek?
Okay. Well, you guys did the hard work. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that it's muchly appreciated by the residents of Three Rivers. And more to come, yes.
Yep. Thank you very
All right.
much. Okay, we're on to number 6, which is reports. Oh, okay. 6.1 is the Cardigan Minor Ball Quarterly Report, and I think we have somebody here to do that. Yep, yeah, there you are.
We're good? Awesome. All right, that's a tough act to follow. Holy cow. Mayor, councilors, residents of Three Rivers, as mentioned, I'm here to present my quarterly report on the Three Rivers Minor Ball Association. So what a year, to say the least. I think I put in my report, I think the adverbs and adjectives have all been said when it comes to baseball and softball this season for Three Rivers. Between baseball and softball, we're closing in on 500 players in the association. Without a doubt, the largest the association has ever been. The success of baseball and softball that we're seeing not only in Three Rivers but in the province and Prince Edward Island in general is going to result in even more players looking to play in 2026 and beyond. I was chatting with Jonathan before the meeting started, and he said, is there a correlation with the Toronto Blue Jays' success? And from a diehard Red Sox fan, it's very difficult to agree, but he's not wrong. We're going to see an even bigger spike with that going forward. Now, while the mandate of our association is never centered around wins and losses, it sure makes it easy when the teams are successful. Our number one focus in the association is to keep children active and healthy, build long-lasting relationships and memories on the field, and create solid teammates. These characteristics will take them way further in life than the amount of wins on a score sheet. But winning is still pretty cool. Three Rivers itself won gold or silver in 8 different provincial categories. On top of this, the 15 UAA team were able to win the Atlantic title in Cardigan, going 5-0 on home soil. I think I was talking to Reg Cunningham at the game when they won, and Reg can be full of himself sometimes, but he said the last time a Cardigan team won Atlantics on home soil, he won. So I'm like, I can't question it because I wasn't there, but that would be interesting to know that stat for sure. I was fortunate to be at the games. I saw several of the games. There were hundreds and hundreds of fans over the weekend, and I'm pretty sure I saw the mayor there. A couple of councilors were there as well, so it was fantastic. On top of that, we had many of our, what we like to call Clipper alumni, players that kind of started their career from, the little small tykes and kind of moved on, were involved in many other teams that had success as well. We had AAA teams that won silver and gold in provincial and Atlantic levels. Our PEI Canada Games team went 5-0 in the round robin in Newfoundland and ended up finishing 4th overall. Their best results in the baseball side in any Canada Games in history. Senior Islanders won gold in nationals in Manitoba, following by winning the New Brunswick Senior League title. The UPEI Panthers won gold in their first year ever participating in the Atlantic Collegiate Baseball Association. The KCBL had another successful season with the Peaks Bombers winning a title. And finally, we hosted the National Old Timers Tournament in Prince Edward Island in August, and the Charlottetown Jays won the 43-plus division, and the Trixies Bears out of Morel won the 33-plus division. Unheard of. The first time PEI has ever won national titles at this tournament and ended up winning 2 divisions. So to say it was the most successful season for baseball and softball in PEI would possibly be the understatement of the year. I actually just found out the other day that we're pretty fortunate that we are hosting the Baseball PEI Awards Banquet in Brunel this year. Probably the first time in a long time it's left Charlottetown. So another testament to Three Rivers in general, but also to the volunteers that are kind of insisting, like, hey, let's spread this thing around. So that's going to be pretty good. So if anybody wants to go, I think $20 or $30, a nice meal, get some awards. This would be great. So earlier this year, I spoke to the council about the lack of field capacity in our region and some maintenance at the complex. We were pretty fortunate that we were able to secure the small fields at the high school, which we mentioned at that meeting. They weren't in the best condition, but they were able to alleviate some of the strain on the current fields for sure, especially with the younger kids. We're definitely in need of a long-term strategy when it comes to baseball and softball facilities in the region. I have opened up this topic of discussion with CAO Mr. Jameson to take a look at where we can go going forward. I feel that as we continue to grow as a community, the need for additional recreation facilities are only going to grow with it. The need is going to have to grow with it. A long-term strategy down on paper sooner than later will allow for proper planning, budgeting, because this will not be an inexpensive endeavor for sure. On the maintenance side, there was a lot of work done at the complex and around the region as well. The addition of Jonathan Gardner to the team was fantastic. It was really great to see some of the smaller items, which may not be noticeable by somebody just passing by, but they made such a huge difference at the complex, and really the pride was overwhelming this year. Being able to give the complex that level of attention is exactly what we needed. The Clipper Field, the big field in Cardigan, as some may recall, needed a bit more work, especially with the field hosting the AA Atlantics. Jonathan and his team worked wonders tirelessly. I remember people saying they drove by day and night, and there was always somebody at that field getting it ready, and it looked fantastic. So a huge kudos to Jonathan. I know you're here. Thank you very much. And the entire maintenance team for everything that you did for us. In saying this, none of this happens without the support of council. We appreciate your willingness to support our association, both with your kind words as well as your money and your resources. Without having these facilities in our backyard, none of this would be possible. And to echo Derek's comments, thank you. With that, we can take a breath for maybe a month before we start planning for the 2026 season. It will be hard to top 2025, but we're absolutely up for the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. The reason I didn't say your name, I was going to call you Barry. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say now.
I almost called you Barry. Anyway, sorry.
I've been called worse, not much, but
Well, I should know, Chris. I have a son. I was at the games, 2 of the games. I had to go see one little guy that that spent some time at my place. And it was amazing. I was proud of the crowd and I was proud of the team. In fact, the fields this year were amazing. I also drove around and looked. And I want to thank Jonathan and our maintenance staff and John for the direction that made all that possible. I'm very proud of the baseball in Three Rivers this year. Okay, we have some people that'd like to speak. Wayne, you're first.
I'd just like to take a minute to congratulate the executive of Ball in Three Rivers. And once again, the volunteers, it was unbelievable that, you at the game and you'd swear if you opened your mouth that the person knew what you were looking for and it was already gone. So that's great to see. Congratulations to all the teams winning, losing. They're learning life skills. And back to Mr. Reggie Cunahan. That was 43 years ago. And no, he didn't play, he coached.
Yes.
Because I was actually at that game. Thank you.
There we go, history. Okay, Councilor Monroe?
Thanks for the report, Chris. It's great to see baseball thriving in Kings County, and especially in Three Rivers. With the number you gave us, Chris, of 500 people between softball and baseball, and I really believe, like you said earlier, that the Jays will, younger kids are now going to get involved in baseball. But I have to think, like you're talking about, looking down the road, what we need to do. With so many young kids playing now, would you see a need by the time they hit Bantam and youth for lights at the Clipper field?
It's a good question. I mean, the JD field, JD McIntyre Field in Cardigan is one of the only fields with lights in eastern PEI. Morel does have lights, and that's for the older kids. We would like to feel that, the way the registration goes, you get this glut at the lower end with the young kids, 5, 6 years old, and it goes down as they get older. They get jobs, they get girlfriends and boyfriends, life changes. But as that is bigger, it's going to go from, we had 130, 150 kids possibly under the age of 8 in the association. As that gets bigger, it's going to get bigger up here too. So you're going to have a need. We had the Clipper field itself was pretty much maxed out this year. And we would have had a huge need for lights at the Clipper field, especially for tournaments. I think I mentioned to Jonathan, but as we were chatting earlier, just to apply for some of these big tournaments, the Atlantics is one, Nationals, if we ever wanted to take one on down the road, you need to have a field with lights available or they won't let you apply. Mm-hmm. So we were able to partner with Morel. They let us kind of put their name down. Did we like sending games to Morel this year for the AA? Absolutely not. We would like to keep those games in the region, keep them shopping in the region, keep them staying in the region. Having lights here would check that box very, very quickly. So I'd love to have all the fields with lights in all honesty, but realistically, I think the larger Clipper field would be the one to go with lights next.
Yeah, if you're going to see kids stick around probably till the end of Bantam.
Correct.
So if you're going to have 2 teams at a house league level plus your AA, AAA, that's a lot of field times, and it'd be nice to see some tournaments drawn in with the satellites and for the overflow games into Morel, like you say. So
Agreed.
I think that's something we should be looking at.
Agreed. I'm not going to belabor this too much, but it would be interesting. I'm sure Summerside, if anybody wanted to make a phone call, it would be nice to see the economic benefit of bringing a tournament in like that. If you brought in, 20 teams, what does that economically spin off for the town? Because Summerside does it for a reason. They're not doing it for fun.
I believe to that point, Summerside has somebody on staff, do they not, that is responsible for tournaments. It could be baseball, it could be hockey. A AAA hockey or baseball tournament and a house league tournament take in the same amount of money. It's the same amount of hotel rooms, doesn't matter about level. It could be a Crokinole tournament.
Correct.
It's gonna bring in revenue, so I agree.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see that number.
Yeah, no, it would be, and I think we may even have talked to Summerside over, but they do have a staff person that looks for any kind of activity to bring into anything they can hold in the town. And the other thing I just wanted to say is we do need to sit down and talk about fields. A lot of the fields look great. I know that the high school fields still need work. We did they did great this year for the time we had. But yeah, we do need to sit down and talk about fields, and we will before in the near future.
Perfect.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, folks.
Okay, 6.2 is the Monica Georgetown Library biannual October report. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Just like to thank your worship and members of council for having us here this evening. Our report has been submitted. I'll just highlight a few things that we'd like to point out. The numbers in Georgetown have remained strong, even though the library was closed kind of unexpectedly in the summer. And we appreciate the town accommodating our tutor, our student tutor, who would have worked out of the library in Georgetown, and you found a place for her in Georgetown to work, which was great. A couple of tense moments there when we realized she didn't have a spot to do her tutoring in the town. While the Georgetown Library was closed, Anders, my colleague who's the branch technician there, he was very missed, and the library was very missed, but we were very fortunate to have him in Montague and have him take the lead on the TD Summer Reading Club programming, which was very successful. And in Montague, we've been able to continue to offer a variety of programs that continue to be well attended for all different age groups, from babies right up to seniors. In the past year, we've seen an uptake of people through distance learning needing exams proctored, so they need to take their exam here rather than in school if they're attending or doing classes out of province. So we've been able to accommodate them by having them come in and do their exams with us. We appreciate our continued community partnerships with MRHS and having one of their co-op students with us for another semester. He's been a great asset, as well as hosting programs. We aim for once a month with Inclusions East for them to come in and do an activity. And as well, we have a couple of folks from Inclusions that come in and help with shelving and other tasks in the library, and they're a huge asset to us and great to foster those relationships. I'll also say thank you for your role in the biggest news for Montague, which was getting the ball rolling with the electrical work so we could do a huge rearrange of the space. We heard a lot of people missed us for that week, which was nice to hear, but it's been such a change for the better to have the space rearranged. Our circulation desk is more central now, so it's easier to engage with folks when they come in. And lets us use our space to the best of its ability. It's much more flexible now. We can have people come in and, work remotely or do studying and tutoring throughout the year. If we need to, we can move the tables around and host a bigger group, like the Inclusions when they come in to do crafts and such. That's all I have to say. I'm not quite as eloquent as
No.
some of the others here.
Yeah, no, you have a great report there, and I've gone through it. I did not know that you had programs for babies.
Yes, story
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
0 to 5.
So I know some people who attended, and they were very impressed. So
Great.
that's something I found out. Yeah.
Turns out I'm much more comfortable with the scarves and the storybooks.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's always a busy place, and
is,
we
yeah.
we always appreciate the services you provide both in Georgetown and Montague. So thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? No. Okay. Thank you. So we're on to number 7, request for decisions. The first one is a request for decision 25-37, appointing a protection of privacy council. I'll pass that over to John.
Thanks, Your Worship. The town has had a vacancy in the access to information and protection of privacy coordinator position since the retirement of the previous executive assistant and clerk to council. The ATIP coordinator plays an important role, being responsible for processing information requests and ensuring compliance with privacy legislation. With the recent staffing of the executive assistant position, it's logical to appoint Andrea McDonald, our current executive assistant and clerk to council, as ATIP coordinator for the town of Three Rivers. So the request to move forward would be to appoint Andrea McDonald as ATIP coordinator for the town of Three Rivers.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Okay, so we'll move that forward. Okay, great. So move it forward to the next council meeting. 7.2 on page 16 is request for decision 25-38 Youth Advisory Committee, and this was submitted by Jonathan. So, well, if you want to come and speak to this.
wasn't prepared to speak tonight, but that's all right. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And I swear I didn't come just because I heard I was being talked about with baseball. It's just a coincidence. The reason I would like to start this Youth Advisory Council is you ask parents, you ask youth, you ask anybody, and they'll tell you, we need more things to do. We need more things for our youth to do. Great. Ask the youth what that is, and they'll all give you the same answer. Oh no. That's what my kid says every time I ask him a question. I don't know. But put a few of them in the room together and let them decide. Like, we can look at all of the information, all of the stats, and kind of say, hey, this is what you should be doing. This is what we can do for you. There's no ownership in that. If we have this council of high school and intermediate students come together once a month, maybe meet for an hour, and they can tell us what the youth actually want. And maybe we're all saying they need more ball fields, which we definitely need, but maybe there's youth in the area saying we need more art space or art gallery space. And me as a sports guy myself, I'm not knowing that, but these students coming to us and saying this is what we need. With that ownership as well, there's more likely buy-in and more likely for those programs to succeed. Just a little bit of anecdotal advice on that. Before I moved here, the little town that I lived in, about 1,000 people, they were looking to have a skate park put in. So instead of the town deciding and designing it, they actually reached out and had a group of 10 to 14-year-olds design the skate park, and they had to raise the funds for it themselves. So they did an amazing job. They brought me and my dad in to help design because then they wanted a basketball court, so we designed the court. Years later, most skate parks you see have graffiti all over them or damage done. This equipment is all still in perfect condition because it was the kids and the youth that actually designed it. And I've been on the basketball court and heard kids on the skate park telling kids not to litter because they were on the group that actually helped design it. So I'd like to see some of the youth in our town here have a little bit of say what's going into their programming. And I think it'd be really interesting to bring some into this world to actually see what happens in the town. When we were talking about the fantastic grounds crew we had, one of those students, actually I just got an email from a university. He's applied to med school and he wanted a reference. When I mentioned that council, he said he would be amazed. He would love to come and see what town council does and have a bit of a say in what happens in the town. And that's just one student. We open that up to each school, and each school nominates maybe one representative or two representatives. I think it'd be a great way to have some buy-in from the youth in the town.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Questions, comments? Well, a great idea, okay. Everybody agrees it's a great idea, so we'll move it ahead. Okay, thank you. Okay, so 7.3 is request for decision 25-39, the Cardigan Fire Hall funding, and I believe Dawn is going to speak to this.
Thank you, Your Worship. On July 14, 2025, the council passed a resolution for staff to submit a capital investment plan for infrastructure under the CCBF fund to support the construction of an addition to the Cardigan Fire Hall. To fund this project, $280,000 needs to be transferred from CCBF Fund 12.5.6, expansion of water and sewer, to the Cardigan Fire Hall expansion project. So the request is for council's approval council approves the request to transfer $280,000 from CCBF 12.5.6 expansion of water and sewer to the Cardigan Fire Hall expansion project.